Everything that drives you nuts, everything you hate, everything that makes you frustrated about the 2024 Seattle Mariners was on full display in this game tonight. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners postgame recap. Mariners dropped this one 5-4 to the Texas Rangers. You guys can do me a favor, smash the like button, comment your thoughts down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Mariners are now 4.5 back in the AL West. I'm not really sure where they're at in the wild card, 4.5, 5 back there as well. Everything about this team that is beyond frustrating, everything that has driven us nuts since day one, everything that is going to keep this team out of the postseason. You can check off all the boxes tonight. Starting pitcher goes 6-7 innings, 1 run or less, pitches fantastic, and the team doesn't win. Check. 1-run loss that drives you crazy. Check. An offense that has multiple innings with runners at second, third, 1 out, no outs, and can't even get a run when the other team is probably letting you score a run. Check. Bullpen that's shaky. Check. Errors. Check. Guys that should be superstars for this team coming up in big clutch situations and being massive zeros. Check. Check off all the boxes. This is it. You want to know what the 2024 Seattle Mariners were? This is it. Just show them this game. Watch this game, and there is your 2024 Seattle Mariners. Nice performance from Victor Robles. Your starting pitcher, fantastic. Bullpen, a little shaky. And an offense that couldn't manufacture a run if their life depended on it. There it is. This is the game. That's it. Listen, it's not surprising, right? Like, this is this team. This is kind of what they are. What are they, a game over 500? And for every win that feels great, like last night, it's followed up by a frustrating loss. This team cannot put any momentum together, but they're kind of a mediocre team, and that's what happens. You're going to have wins where you go, wow, this team looks really good, and then you're going to have games like this. Everything still stands. If you can get to that Houston series 3 back, that's still a goal. Again, I really try my best not to be up and down every single night, but this team is up and down every single night, so there's no other option for me in these recaps. But truly one of the more frustrating losses. Now, I'd be lying to you if they're getting, if they are getting less and less frustrating, because I've kind of just accepted the fate. Even the 3 games back thing is more of just like, hey, that's your Hail Mary. That's your opportunity here if there is one. It's not that I have a lot of faith that they're going to get there and sweep that series. It's just, that's your one bullet you got left that you can maybe salvage something with. But, for everything in this game, the first inning, second and third, nobody out. Middle of the order coming up, Robles and Julio get on, no runs. I mean, 1 run there is truthfully not good enough. You should be putting up multiple runs. They can't even get 1 across. Cal, frustrating. Randy, frustrating. Who else came up in that? Luke Raley, frustrating. Then you get to that 7th inning, runner at third, less than 2 outs. You get a sac fly there, 5-2. Yeah, I think you win this baseball game. I do. I think it settles you down the 8th inning. You get one of those runs back. But no, can't get that run in. Cal was atrocious in those spots because he came up both times and couldn't come through. And listen, was this the worst offensive game of the season for the team? No, 4 runs, far from it. But it's not always created equal. You can score 3 runs and I think have a good offensive day. You can have a scrappy game against a great pitcher where you battled through it and got a few runs on the board. But you can have a game like this where you get 4, not that 4 is a great number, but you can get 4 and still have an extremely frustrating offensive day. It was not good enough. This team cannot manufacture a run. And me and Mariners sort of talked about, like, with this pitching staff, I mean, sac flies, ground outs to get runs. And listen, I know it's easier said than done. I know you're not going to, in every situation where there's a runner at third and less than 2 outs, you're not always going to get the run in. But my gosh, this team just, I mean, they had 4 chances, right? Because you had 3 in the first inning. You have 2 in the 7th and nothing. I know they got a couple runs in the middle of the game. Turner had a home run. Rosarina had a 2-run single, making up a little bit for his first inning at bat. But it's not good enough. And the bullpen, it's been issued. Now, listen, Luke Raley made an error. That Daniel Lowe grounder, I think, is one that maybe Polanco could have made a play on there. Tough one. So I don't think Snyder was necessarily awful. And Snyder's been so good this year that he shouldn't have to be in a position where they've got to lock it down every time. The offense should have had more runs. It should have been a 6-7-2 game. And again, Luke Raley lets him down at the air. Lowe gets the infield hit. You got to be better, right? Gave up the home run to Simeon. What else happened in that eighth inning there? Let me just pull it up here. I want to get the exact play-by-play here for the eighth. Got Tavares to fly out. Simeon homers, then the air, Wyatt Langford sharp double. So listen, Snyder was not good, but probably gets out of that if Raley makes the play. And it was actually Saucedo that gave up the infield hit to Lowe. Snyder was out at that point. So, obviously got to be better, but not all on him. And again, if the offense could just get one run in that first and get that run in the fifth, that probably doesn't matter. Ninth inning, Victor Robles continues to be great, gets on for Julio. Julio had 3 pitches there that I thought were hittable. That last pitch looked like a hanger to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not an expert on that, but you got to do damage on that. Julio, you've got to step up and be the guy. Again, is this loss all on him? No, it's never all on one person, but, and Julio reached base a couple times a day as well. Wasn't really his fault that they didn't score in the first inning. No, Julio got the base hit in the first inning, so he was fine. But can we have one time have a special moment where he just puts one out of this park to end it? One time, the big clutch moment. Come on, can we get it? Can we get it? And this team, gives up the lead and then just dies in the 8th and 9th inning with nothing to show for it. No fight, nothing. Except for Victor Robles. Victor Robles cares. We know that. And listen, I'm being frustrated. I think they care. They're not that good. And, when you constantly leave the door open, this team isn't good enough to overcome it. The bullpen's had too many injuries to overcome, not being given a lead. The offense had opportunities to add on and couldn't do it. And it's just, like I said, really, I don't have much else to say. It's just a game like this is truly a microcosm of the 2024 Seattle Mariners. What are they now, 0-90 in their last 91-run games? When was the last time this team won a 1-run game? I don't remember the last time they did. I think they won a 2-run game. No, St. Louis, they pulled away in that 9th inning. I don't even remember. Oakland, maybe? And that was a 2-run game because Munoz gave up the home run in the 9th. But I honestly don't remember the last time this team pulled out a 1-run game. If it is close, they are just finding ways to lose these games. It's truly remarkable that this team can do this. I think they are, all joking aside, 4-16 in their last 20 1-run games. Make that 7-13, and you're right there. And they're not even most of these 1-run losses. Now, I'm not going back to all 20 games here. I don't remember what it was 20 games ago, but the Angels series, you had the lead in both of them. The A's games, you had the lead in both of them. Tonight, you had the lead in this one. The St. Louis one wasn't a 1-run game, but it was tied going into the 8th inning with Logan dealing. It's just, it's not even it was just back and forth games, or it's it was the other team was up 3-0, you got 2, and they held on. These are games you should have won. Bryce Miller, fantastic tonight, but wasted. There's a shock. Something positive, though. Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, again, cannot say enough good about these guys. And so cool to see them in September continuing to pitch well. Again, it was my biggest worry with this team. Maybe not biggest worry, but it was a worry. Getting into September, would Brian Wu, would Bryce Miller be able to hold up throughout a whole year? Now, I know Wu's been a little banged up, so he hasn't pitched a whole year. But they have been more than advertised. Again, talk about bright spots. Talk about Brian Wu yesterday, Victor Robles, Bryce Miller, another guy who has just established himself as a legitimate top shelf pitcher, in my opinion, in baseball. What a season for Bryce Miller. He goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, 7 Ks, 3.12 ERA in the year. Tremendous season from Bryce Miller. What a step forward he has taken too. I cannot say enough good things about Bryce Miller. But of course doesn't get a win tonight because his teammates let him down. I hope they're lining up to apologize because, and listen, was that the best Mariners starting performance of the year? No, but just another one to throw in the pile of great starts that is wasted completely. Awful. Troy Taylor gave up the home run to, who hit the home run off? Was it Lowell or was it Young that hit? It was Lowe that hit the home run off. Taylor Lowe continues to just kill the Mariners every time they play the Rangers. Snyder had a rough outing. Sauce just had the two batters. Both had a good ninth inning. Again, though, going back, just Bryce Miller is the one that, you feel gutted for. Offensively, the Mariners have 6 hits, 5 walks, 3 runs, 16 strikeouts. That reared its ugly head again. Kumar Rocker makes his major league debut. Certainly has good stuff, no doubt. But you had him on the ropes in that first inning. And, when you get a young pitcher like that, you got a chance to knock him around. You have to take advantage of it because they settle in, that confidence grows. And that's what the Mariners allowed him to do, unfortunately, in that first inning. And listen, obviously, he's going out there trying to get the outs. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not asking for this team to have had 5-run innings here. Asking for 1, second, and third, nobody out should truthfully be a 2-run minimum. It really should be. You should score 2 there. I'm asking for 1. I'm just asking for a sac fly, which truthfully, I would have looked at that ending as a disappointment if that's all they scored. But that's all I'm looking for. Just so frustrating. Victor Robles was great. 3 for 3 today with a walk on base 4 times. OPS up to 803. Love that we've seen Victor Robles bounce back. Started out hot. It looked like he was cooling off. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit worried that the run was over. Kind of like, Robles. And I still liked him. I was like, hey, this is still a good fourth outfielder at worst. But he is really now taken off. And again, having another great stretch run where I'm really glad he's in the fold for next year. You talk about, again, Miller, Wu, Robles is in that category. Great to see, just great to see the numbers again go up for Robles. A shame that it's being wasted again, but great job by Victor Robles. Julio 1 for 4, the walk and a hit. Again, like getting on base twice, nice, but when you need him the most in a big moment, he had a terrible at bat. Again, I thought Yates hung a couple of those pitches that should have been deposited into the seats. There was the cutter. I think it was a strike 3 pitch. That should have been blasted. Again, like on base twice is nice, but where's the slugging? Where's the big clutch hit? Not there. Cal, tough game, 0 for 2. Did have, again, like Cal's another one of those tonight. 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Cal reaches base twice, but he had 2 crucial at-bats in that first and 7th inning where he could have just had a couple sac flies and you win this baseball game. A Rosarina 1 for 4. Another one had a big single, but had another couple, tough at-bats, chance to get him in, couldn't do it. Tough game for Raley with the error, 0 for 4. Turner 1 for 4 with the home run. I think Justin Turner's another one that obviously, he won't be back next year, but it's kind of done what you've needed him to do for the most part here. And the bottom of the order really struggles. Polanco 0 for 4. JP continues to struggle 0 for 4. Rojas 0 for 3 with the walk. Listen, your hope again, it just comes down to get to that Houston Series 3 back and pray. That's where you're at. This team is just incredibly, incredibly frustrating. And you face DeGrom and Scherzer. They should be on pitch count, so maybe that helps. But you also have Emerson Hancock going, and not that I think Hancock's fine, but instead of Luis Castillo, that could be a little dicey. I certainly feels like there's more potential for this to spiral negative than it does for this team to spiral positive a little bit, if that makes sense. And again, I know the emotions every day seem to be that up and down that I talk about, but that's what this team has been, right? Like they win yesterday and you feel a little hopeful, like, okay, you're 3.5 back. Houston loses, you feel better, right? I mean, I think we all still cautiously optimistic after yesterday, but then they just give it right back today. Can't pile up those wins, and that's how you got to get that momentum going. I don't know where they're at right now. I talked about the Mets a couple weeks ago, or a week or so ago. They won 7-8 in a row, and they got a 5.5 lead down to 1 or whatever it was. That's what this team had to do. And you look at a game like tonight, very winnable. They had a lead in that first Padres game. They lost by 4 runs, but they should have won the Logan game in St. Louis. That would have been 5 in a row. And then fine, you lose game 1, but you win yesterday and today. That's 7 out of 8. That's what you needed. And this team can't seem to find a way. You can't win them all blowouts, right? There's going to be close games, and they just cannot find a way to win the close ones. Beyond frustrating. Hit that like button for me. Comment your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm off to bed. I got a test for work at like 5 in the morning. School never stops, apparently, even when you're working. So I'm gonna get up for that. I actually debated doing this recap, but the way they lost made it so frustrating that I had to do it. Microcosm of the season. Have a good night, everybody. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. One more day, then it's the weekend. And as always, still, go Mariners. Peace.